When he turned 40, a C-list character actor turned writer named Taylor Sheridan decided that he wanted to become a screenwriter, and the first 3 scripts he wrote all were Oscar nominated, 2 of them for their screenplay. Today is his first foray into TV writing, and we're going to talk about it right now, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I feel like that's the only way you could respond to how
I
the
know.
song starts.
It's creepy, Jeff.
I sometimes like bluegrass, kind of folky music. Are you guys Nickel Creek fans at all?
Nickel Creek does
Not
not sound like a
really.
group
I mean, I
would
like
wanna
some
listen to.
country music.
Some country music. See, I like country, but I love like the folk, like the Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack, maybe,
Oh, like
kind
references
of.
that I don't.
I know
That's
what you're
all
talking
right.
about.
I know Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton,
He's
there we
good.
go.
He's good.
Well, here's what you guys do know. This is the TV Pilot Reviews show here on AfterBuzz TV, where every week we review a new pilot. As I mentioned at the top, this week we're covering Paramount Network's brand new show, Yellowstone, which actually premiered last Wednesday when we covered Owen's Love Is. But this is a show written and developed by Taylor Sheridan, who is a very well-known writer. We'll get into some of his credentials in a little bit. Before we do that, guys, my name's Jeff. I'm not alone. I'm surrounded by our lovely, I guess, official fill-in now,
Oh, yes.
Elle
I'm
Marie.
official. Hey, guys, I'm Elle Marie.
and Sam Davidson.
Hello, guys. I'm happy to be back.
We're happy to have you back. We missed you last week.
Thank you.
Yes. And DeAnJilo Platt.
Yes.
Okay, so as I mentioned at the top, guys, this is a show called Yellowstone. We're going to be covering all of it. We will be reviewing the trailer. We will be talking about the show specifically and even rating the show out of 5, giving all of you a very, very thorough look at what we thought of this pilot alone. Real quick, guys, we review pilots. We don't review the whole show. If you guys are really into this show, you might consider reviewing it. But before we dive into anything, I actually want to watch the trailer with you guys. And we'll do a little live trailer reaction. So, Bree, whenever you're ready.
You're a cowboy today.
You don't act like the man from the stories I've heard.
That's the thing about being a grandfather. I get to do all the things I wish I'd done with my children. Woo! And the things I regret, I get to do different.
You were right. You're building a city.
Everyone's forgotten who runs this valley. I need you more than ever. You have me.
What are you doing here?
Same thing I always do. Fixing something you couldn't.
Stagnation is death for a town, and the Duttons are the ones killing it.
The new chief is hungry for a fight.
I'm gonna buy your ranch, and I'm gonna pull down every fence. It'll look like it used to, when it was ours.
Just tell me who to fight.
Everyone.
A man must stand with his people.
This ain't checkers, son. This is chess. And you're about to play it with masters.
All I do every day is fight for this family.
If you were winning, I wouldn't be here.
I don't regret one sin I've committed. It's the one I'm about to commit that worries me.
Mess with my family. I will chop your family tree down.
Progress. Can't stop it, John. Watch me.
Yellowstone, a new series Wednesday, June 20th at 9 on Paramount Network.
Okay.
Westerns are made for trailers.
Yes.
It's a great trailer.
That was a wonderful trailer.
Yeah.
That was so intense.
Yes.
I know.
Okay, so we like the trailer. How do we feel about the show? Sam, because I know you have a complicated relationship with Westerns, I want to start with you.
And my father. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, though,
Whoa.
everyone thought Kevin Costner used to look like my dad. And it's a... Okay, and yes, the Western idea, but it's present day. It's it's Montana. There's parts of the modern world brought into it. My thoughts are in my pass or play right now?
Yeah, both.
All right,
Yeah.
so probably a pass for me, but I could be a play for other people. It was very long. There was a lot of things I liked about it that I probably could have put together and made a 40-minute pilot that I would have enjoyed.
I agree.
But it probably would have taken out a lot of the things that are the point of the show, like the Western aspect of it. So, yeah.
Wait, what'd you think, though? Like, what did you... I know you don't like Westerns, so personally...
Hot guys. I mean, no, I'm so serious. So it's Christian Grey, the guy that played Christian Grey's brother in 50 Shades of Grey is the lead. And then we have the American Beauty guy who was just an American Horror
Luke
Story.
Grimes is the 50 Shades. Wes Bentley is American Beauty.
Kevin Costner, like
Is
sexiest. Yeah, I mean he's like an old sexy, you know.
Silver Fox.
Yeah, he's a silver fox. It was cast very well.
Attractive.
It was a very attractive cast, and you guys know how I feel about the CW. Thus, how I feel about attractive casts.
Fair enough.
It's
That is
good.
fair. That's part of TV, I think.
I don't think I'll be watching again unless I hear it's some crazy, amazing thing, in which I would because I didn't hate it.
Okay.
But I didn't really. It didn't entice me a lot.
That's a seal of approval for you not to hate a Western.
That's how I feel,
think it must be good.
But it's not a Western. It's in modern day.
Right.
A modern Western.
That's what I would call
It
it.
has got some Western feels.
Elmarie, what did you think?
I like you said, it was long because at first I'm like, well, when is this going off? So do we know if every episode is this or this was?
This
the
was
premiere
technically
episode?
the first 2.
Okay, so it was one of those.
How many are there?
Okay.
There's going to be 10, but really 9 broadcasts
Okay.
because this
Got
counts
it.
as 1 and 2.
10 hours.
Because what I was going to say, as I was watching it, I'm like, okay, the storyline, the plots, everything that this show is talking about, this actually has potential to be good. And if you are into this type of show like Westerns, it looks like it's kind of modern day cowboy versus Indian type of thing. So it may be good. I was like, where's the drama? So towards the end, I felt like we got the drama. And I was like, oh, okay. So if we kind of deliver that like every time, I could see it still may not be for me, but I could see how an audience could get into the show if they bring the drama. It's kind of like how you were saying with Love Is, like you needed more grit. So if they're gonna bring that grit, especially with like you're gonna have all this conflict in this show, like really bring the drama. So I think like with another episode or 2, you'll know if they're really gonna have that drama there. So for me, it's gonna be a pass. But I think if you're into this type of genre, then it could be a play for other people.
DeAnJilo Platt.
Good analysis.
Yeah, I know. Well
I think it's for me. It's surprising that I'm learning that I like Westerns. It's weird because I never watched them, but Godless, like I was in love with, and so this is like good. I wouldn't say it's as good as Godless, but definitely has the elements that I like, and then the drama at the end. The hour and a half kind of flew by for me, but again, I like shows that kind of like give me a little bit here and then kind of drag me along. That's like the style I like because it stimulates me. So it definitely like gave me everything I want. Double play.
Okay. I really liked the show, you guys, which isn't typical for me.
I think it's a dude show. I'm just gonna put it out
I think
there.
that's
Which is
fair.
amazing because it's hot guys. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's what kept me interested. Like, oh,
I mean, I'm not complaining about Kelly Riley, who plays the daughter. I think she...
Yeah, we're gonna get some nice things out of her. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the daughter, yeah, she was very
Yeah, I think if we're talking about serve and face, we're getting it for the guys. We're getting some of that from her as well. I will say, like, I don't think this show quite lived up to its potential. Like, I think, as you were mentioning, I think both you guys mentioned pacing. I think on one element, a slow unfold burn is good, but I'm not sure we needed every scene in this pilot. I think it could have been like an hour-long total. Like this didn't necessarily feel like 2 episodes of television for me because there was only one climax, you know? And I think that climax could have been in a even extended length episode. That being said, I thought it was pretty good. I like Taylor Sheridan a lot. I love Hell or High Water and I love Sicario. And what this writer does is he like calls back to the conventions of a classic Western, like a 19th century type of cowboys versus Indians Western, that kind of iconic Americana, but he sets it today. So there will be hip hop and there will be trucks and there will be guns and helicopters. And I think it's so cool. To me, that's why I like his version of a Western, is because I don't get bored with the history component. So all of that adds up for me a lot. And I think I'm going to keep watching this show. I think this was a good move on Paramount Network. I was reading... It's confusing right now because they have American Woman, which is so female-driven, and this, which is so male-driven. But what they're trying to do right now is answer to FX. They're trying to create this sort of prestige cable network. And I think they're not there because FX, everything FX puts out is amazing. But I think this is a step at least in the right direction.
Yeah, it wasn't a horrible show.
No.
So, and I'm like, you know what? If you watch the second episode, let me know how it is.
Yeah.
Because if it's filled with drama, like I actually might
exactly.
go back because the trailer, because at first I was like, but watching the trailer, there are some things that were in the trailer that wasn't in the first episode that was interesting. So I'm like, I may try to
come
tune
back.
in again. Yeah,
Cool.
But if it's good, I'm gonna wait till you watch.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
You can tell though, like whenever a pilot's gonna be an hour and a half, there's always you can always say they could have took scenes out, but I think they wanted to keep that Western influence with it, and with
the
that
long and boring influence.
Yeah, because I was like,
just like how they introduced the characters and how they kind of like pull it along. And then I guess that second episode, quote unquote, was where the drama happens. And I think I would assume that that's going to keep happening going forward now that we know every character and their backstory.
yeah,
Right.
I hope they come to things a little bit quicker, because if I wasn't doing the show, like maybe like 40 minutes in, I would have been out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's happening here? You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it because I need to talk about it, so I need to watch it. But it was just too drawn out for me, for my taste. It was too drawn out. And so like for me, like every episode, they can't draw it out and then boom at the end. We need something in the middle.
Well, that's one thing I will say. We're going to dive into more specifics in just a minute, guys, but I think we have a lot of thoughts. It was a 90-minute pilot. One thing I did kind of miss is Taylor Sheridan is normally so good at making you feel like it's a slow burn, but still having such a quick, intense pace to his writing. And I almost feel like we could have gotten that. We could have gotten both. And part of this is what I feel like the issue with these 10-hour-long seasons. If you put a movie writer in charge of his first TV show, I think maybe he allowed himself to lean into the potential of the format too much. And I think that cost the pacing for me. Like, I think he still could learn. Like, to me, if you look at a show like Stranger Things, that has both intensity and a slow burn. That, to me, is the masterclass of how to pace a serialized show. And I think that could have used more of that. And I think we know Taylor Sheridan can do it because Sicario is a nail-biter through the whole thing, but it still has that gritty... But
somebody should have been in the room being like, hey, maybe we should not do an hour and a half.
Right.
I bet you for him it was just kind of like a dream. It's like, I can do like this 10 times. Like I can have a really long movie.
Yeah, I know.
Because what is this? We've talked about Netflix shows before and and Amazon shows and how they just kind of have this free range they didn't have on networks before. So what is this Paramount network? It's definitely not Spike TV at all.
I think it's supposed to be like FX. Like, they're trying to create the network that's going to win a bunch of Emmys. Like, I feel like that's FX's model is like, give creators complete reign, which they've done with Taylor Sheridan here. He's written and directed every episode. So I feel like, to me right now, this is FX light. Like, it doesn't have quite the same gravitas.
Do you feel though like Paramount, it's a little bit of like a white network?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like,
right now it is.
Based on the two shows that we've watched, they're trying to give different commentaries
White
on
people
America, like American Woman's, like the American woman experience at that time, like kind of going through. I'm using the name in my definition, but like you get that. And then so for this is also a commentary on America. So like it is kind of innately white, but like it has this aspect of minority too because there's a woman involved in that. And then this we get the Indian story.
And
so
it's
I think
about
that's
time.
where like my bad. This is where it differentiates from FX. FX is like a little bit more edgy, or like Atlanta is a specific type of problem in a specific type of minority group. Like,
You're right.
So it's kind of, I think FX influences, but like a little bit divvied off to the left.
Well, I do feel like it's time finally that white people are represented on screens. I hear you though. Even if you look at shows like Pose or like Feud, like Pose is about gay black culture in New York in the 90s. And this is, you know what, like Trumpy in America is like a real thing that doesn't always show up on TV. I was reading a lot of people are reacting to this show. Like a lot of like Trump voters are watching this show and they're kind of into it.
Sure.
And we're going to talk about how the critics receive this show, but we'll get there. But I think there are some interesting potential partisan politics aligned with this show. Let's talk about what the show is for those of you guys listening. Again, one more time, Taylor Sheridan wrote, directed every episode. You'll know him for movies like Hell or High Water, Sicario, Wind River, all of which are Oscar nominated, which is crazy.
Wind River was good.
I know. It's like he's such a wonderkind that at age 40 he decided he wanted to become a writer, and this is what he's writing, which is dope. It's unbelievable. It gives all of us hope. Not that I mean we're killing
I was gonna
it,
say like
but we're gonna get our Oscars. Come on. But this is a show basically about one family. This is the Dutton family, and they own the largest ranch in Montana. They're sort of like the Montana elite. I think of Dynasty a little bit.
I kind of got that little bit of a feel too.
It's sort of like the Western version of Dynasty. And basically there are three feuding entities who feel that they're entitled to pieces of this land. One of them is a very like privileged housing development company. One of them is a very underprivileged Native American reservation, and one of them is Yellowstone National Park. So basically, I'm kind of sensing that the season is going to be about all of these competing entities feeling entitled to this land.
Right.
And what's interesting is the Dutton family members each have alliances to different components of these factions who want the land. That's what the show is. So now we're going to get into our spoiler territory, guys. It is coming right now. So if you don't want to know anything, this is the time to tune out.
Get out.
We have a spoiler alert. Boop. There it is.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Okay, so I
Spoiler
think the
alert.
first thing I want to talk about is, I guess, characters and performances. Let's start with Kevin Costner. How do we feel having Kevin Costner back on screen?
I liked it. I think he was doing a really good job. It's like, oh, good old Kevin.
Yeah,
Like, you know?
it's kind of a familiar
So,
face.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I also just wanted. It was just a watered down version of Kevin Costner to me, and not the parts that I like about Kevin Costner. I like it when Kevin Costner is, caught off guard and randomly romantic, and really has a deep soul and isn't just short and curt with people. But I thought this was his show, and I'm like, okay, it's not his show.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very familiar with Kevin Costner, like you said, but it's not his show. So like, I think he's just gonna be a familiar face that we can like look at and see that he's gonna do something that we expect.
Yeah. He's sort of almost the audience surrogate because really his children are the more interesting components to their family. So let's talk about these kids. I'm actually liking Luke Grimes' case. He's the 50 Shades of Grey, Sam, just in case you need an image.
Always.
To me, of the 4 children, well, R.I.P. Of the 3 children,
Spoiler.
yeah, well, we're there.
We
I
already
think.
did that.
Luke Grimes' case Dutton is my favorite of these 3.
Well, I think he's supposed to be.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he is our protagonist because we're essentially, I think, seeing everything through his eyes, more or less.
Yeah.
He's the only likable person so far. Really.
I agree. Yeah. And that's one interesting thing about this show is he's really the only character I identify with because everyone else, there's not a lot of likable characters on this show. A lot of rich, entitled characters on this show. Speaking of rich and entitled, I want to talk about Kelly Riley as Beth Dutton because as the only female character in this show, I can see what Taylor Sheridan is trying to do, but I didn't find her to be terribly interesting.
No.
What did you think, El-Marie?
Same. And just like the trailer, there was a line like, you mess with my family, I'll cut your whole family tree down. But it was like, meh. Like, that line should have been powerful. Like, I'll cut your whole family tree down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like, so like,
Let's
I
put
didn't
you in
really.
the show, damn.
All right, let's put me in there. So I just feel like she didn't really deliver that line. And then watching the pilot, I just felt like, meh, about her. But she is supposed to represent like this strong woman, the woman that's, around all of these men, and she has to hold her own. But she kind of falls short in my opinion.
That's interesting because that's why I liked her. Was that like, I mean, well, she's not the only female character, but she has like a really major role in it. But I liked her because it wasn't like she was like this frail like person. Like, she's the person that's kind of the muscle of the family, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I believed her, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but she's supposed. I don't really believe her as the muscle. No.
I don't think it was maybe the best casting.
I don't either.
In all honesty, and maybe it wasn't even the best hair. I know that sounds silly, but there was something when she was delivering her lines, I just didn't believe her. But in my head, I pictured somebody fantastic doing it. I thought the writing was really strong, and she did an okay job. She didn't do a bad job.
Well, yeah, that's what's interesting is I will say I noticed I could hear right away that she was not an American actress. I don't know if you guys caught that.
She sounded weird, yeah.
She's British.
I didn't
and
know.
like in the UK, she's won Laurence Olivier Award. She's a very well-respected actress, but I'm not sure how much American work she's done. I haven't seen her much. And I will say, I sort of sensed, this is all speculation, that not only an American portrayal, but this specific like Montana portrayal maybe got in her head a little bit. I feel like I saw her being in her head. And I will say, I don't even love this character because we covered that show, The Break with Michelle Wolf, a couple weeks ago. Remember that sketch about strong female character?
Yeah.
I was like, this is that
Like
character.
her into
Just like, I'm an angry businesswoman and you can pound me on a dresser, but I won't say your name. Just like that kind of. I didn't find her to be super
dang, you're
interesting.
right.
I was like, oh, you're the same. I've just seen this like She should have had a bob is the only difference. if I were to be like, she's the character.
A bob is fierce.
Right. But I was like, I just don't find her to be, just because she's an angry businesswoman doesn't necessarily make her interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel in a way the director, whomever was whispering into her ear, like, be an American bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, but I thought some of her lines were really, really good that she said, so it was disappointing a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the writing is amazing,
Yeah.
but she, like I said, I just don't feel like she's really delivering.
Yeah, that's fair. The only character we have really left to talk about, well, there's a couple, but let's start with Wes Bentley. I know him from American Beauty. I'll always know him from American Beauty. How do we feel about him playing Jamie Dutton, the lawyer / aspiring politician?
I don't know if he's normal enough.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because he always plays these weird offbeat characters, and I was expecting the character to be odd and offbeat, but I don't think he's supposed to be.
Maybe not yet.
Maybe because maybe that's why they cast him. I don't know.
I think it's interesting.
No, well, I was just gonna say, because I haven't really seen a lot of his past work, so I didn't have that to go off of. It was like a fresh introduction to him, so he seemed to fit the part to me.
I was going to say the same exact thing. So.
That's actually interesting though, because me and you, like, we're judging somewhat. We're not judging their performance. Like we are, but we are judging who he usually is, and it's affecting our. Because he really did a fine job.
He did a fine job. It can be hard, though. I mean, for me, a role that iconic as Ricky Fitz in American Beauty, and I will say that's one of my favorite movies. It's a movie I rewatch.
Oh yeah.
And he plays like a crazy person in that movie.
And he also then went crazy in real life for a long time.
Yeah.
And then just got his comeback a couple years ago on American Horror Story.
I think my issue isn't so much with him, but just in general, I don't really believe that these people are siblings. Like, you were just talking about the hair. We have a blonde one, a redhead, a black-haired, and a brown-haired kid. And that did kind of affect my ability to see them as a family.
True, I agree. Because it took, because I'm not going to lie, sometimes I was in my phone, and so I had to start to put things together. I'm like, oh, you guys are all,
Right.
Okay. But looking at, like you said, kind of with casting, it's like, you all don't really mesh well to look like siblings.
I think I was with you. I would have been with you until like that scene where they were like together playing fishing and all that type of stuff. He brought his
Well,
kid.
the boys at least.
Yeah, the boys. Yeah. The boys specifically, because I think they're playing up that they look different because they all kind of chose a different part of their dad.
Good point.
Or were rejected from their dad.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they were playing up why they look different.
Mm-hmm.
But
they could have different moms.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
that's another variable as well. Huh. So when we don't know what happened, I think the mom died or something. So.
Yeah, it's a very good point, though. There's something strategic about that casting if we need to see them as independent.
Yeah.
One thing I did like a lot was outside of this family, a lot of this casting is pretty diverse and a lot of unknown faces. And if I'm watching a show like this especially, I sometimes don't recognizing the actors.
I felt I saw familiar faces.
Right.
Did you?
Actually, it was the opposite. It was a lot of familiar faces.
Jacob's father from Twilight.
Oh, see?
Right.
I'm not going to know that.
Yep.
But that's fair. Maybe some of these, maybe like some of this Native American casting I was here for. Because I feel like we don't get roles for Native American actors a lot.
No.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I agree. Because I remember in Godless, it was like one kid that was like Native American. He wasn't very a good actor.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they got good actors in this
Yeah.
Well, and in this show, I feel like in most shows, it's like there's one Native American person. But in this show, what is cool, and I'm not sure I love how they're being portrayed, but there is a whole community of Native American. It's a reservation. So like it is just objectively exciting to see casting. It seems like at least authentically trying to approach and cast a community of Native American actors.
I think it's a little stereotypical and heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And then there was this one moment, and I was watching it on my laptop today. And okay, so I was on the toilet. It's fine. So I'm watching it on my I have a little place I put it. It's fine. and it was when they zoomed in on Jacob's father's face, whatever, the one that's the head, the one that grew up Mexican, thought he was Mexican, but he was Native American, and he just stared at the camera, and it's like, oh, that's too bad.
They lingered for a long time.
And I was like, God damn it. I mean, this is not good.
Yeah.
TMI, guys. Sorry, it's been a long day.
No, it's all right. I hear you. I think, again, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because I think broad characterization can be common for a pilot. I'm hoping maybe we see more shades of gray as we continue. But I just heard it.
Yeah.
It's more
I thought
ambiguity.
you did that for me.
I did it for you, Sam. More ambiguity as we continue. But in general, I think these performers are doing a nice job. To me, though, the writing is what really stands out.
Definitely.
if we're talking about like the iconic lines of American cinema, there will always be these really dramatic, almost poetic lines in Westerns. And you had a lot of moments where the characters will say things like, cities are the sunsets of civilization. And like that stuff, I'm just like here for, you know? I don't know how you guys feel about the writing overall, but.
No, writing overall, like I said earlier, I think it was amazing.
Yeah.
The thing that stood out to me the most was probably the Native American growing up Mexican and like how that was supposed to like help him in a way. So I think that was kind of insightful to like the Native American experience. Now I don't know who wrote that. I don't know if it was Native American or a white person, but for me, I was like, oh man, I never even thought about something like that.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
I really hope the show leans into those themes and not just because the one bummer I will say, let's talk themes in this show. I kind of wish our inn wasn't the rich white family. You know what I mean? Because like I care much more about the Native Americans community.
Not when they're acting like jerks, though.
Well, and that's the other thing is I'm like, what an interesting choice to not make them the noble heroes.
Well, that's why people that like Trump probably like the show.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I sort of applaud the show for not just everyone's multi-dimensional, right?
Yeah.
Like I think maybe you could almost argue the one-dimensional version of the show was if the whole community was universally heroic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I guess it's like because sometimes with movies or shows like this with the hero, they are sometimes they're fighting, but they're a little bit timid. And, you know, it's like they're the nice guy. But in this situation, I can no longer be nice to you because you guys have stolen our land before and now you're trying to do it again.
It's like the Malcolm X approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We tried Martin Luther King.
Right.
And now we're on Malcolm
It's fair.
X.
That's a fair point.
History does repeat itself, you guys. It keeps on happening over and over and over again. But here at AfterBuzz, we're doing a lot of really cool stuff as well. And we produce after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from drama, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But now we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. Besides helping us a ton, here is what is in it for you. It caters specific content you already like directly to you. It brings your favorite after shows so you don't have to seek them out. And it suggests content from other channels or podcasts that might interest you. Subscribing to our YouTube channels will also help you discover new shows we're sure that you will love. Since you already turned into our OG AfterBuzz TV channel, and we do a lot of other shows here, like one-on-one in-depth interviews, lots of original content like we're doing right now. We review pilots every single week, so it's a bit different. But you might also be interested in some other channels, like the Drama Channel. On the Drama Channel, we have some good stuff going on this summer. The Affair, which is awesome. Love Is, which we covered here last week. Queen of the South, and 13 Reasons Why, which I am on. You guys, there's a lot of good content here this summer. And remember, we also have other channels for other genres too, and please don't be shy about subscribing to them. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be. They are optional. It's easy, just hit that subscribe button right now for an even easier AfterBuzz experience. And if you let us know that you did that in the comments, we will shout you out live on the air. Thank you guys for being the best fans, and we promise to continue to do our best to serve you.
Woo. I will say I used to be wary of subscribing because I didn't want to get spammed by YouTube, but you can turn off those notifications. So honestly, I just get recommended shows and channels I love, and I'm amazed.
Really, it really helps because like I subscribe, like I'm on Black Ink Crew Chicago, so I go to reality and it's right up there, so I can copy my link, blast it out to everyone. Where before I literally would have to type in like kind of the whole title to get to our show and things like that. So now it's so easy, guys. It's subscribe.
It'll only help you and it'll only help us. Okay, so I had something. Oh, I don't know if I've seen a more beautiful looking show on television this year.
What about Godless?
Yeah, that's fair. The other Western.
I feel like I need to check out Godless. You guys are trying.
It was
to
bomb.
I think you would actually really not like it.
Okay.
It was
So they're hot guys though.
Was that Netflix?
No, not as hot as these.
It's
That's why
only
I like
women
this show
in
better.
Godless.
Never mind.
Netflix is Godless, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Netflix.
Yeah, it is. It's a kind of feminist show, but it's not. Women don't love it. Anyways, we talked about
But I will say it's kind of like Godless, but I also I loved all the livestock and the wildlife. How did you guys feel about getting a cattle birth up close?
It was a bit much.
It was much. I was going to talk about the stampede. Like,
Yeah.
I'm from the Lion King era, so it gave me anxiety. It made me nervous.
Fair enough. That's fair. I like, though, again, Taylor Sheridan's like ability to make it on one shot you'll feel like you're in the 19th century, then on the next shot you feel like it's today.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love that juxtaposition.
It's a good twist.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad by any means.
Right.
It was pretty good. I just I don't know if I loved it. And one of the guys what's his name in real life? The one that died,
I forget
the
his
brother.
name.
I've been a fan
Oh.
of his for a long
my
time.
favorite.
Dave Annabelle.
Yeah, they killed him real quick.
I
So
know.
that was
Had to
sad.
go.
Yeah, that was sad.
I made the huge mistake. I was trying to keep up with these characters, and I was like, okay, these are all the siblings. And I was like, wait, there's one more sibling. Where is he? And I was looking at the cast list.
spoiler.
Then I saw recurring, and I was like, he's going to die today. I just knew it.
Flashbacks, though, maybe?
Maybe
guess if he's recurring,
flashbacks.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that there's going to be a young John Dutton, which is interesting. So we'll get flashbacks of even the dad.
Bet you
Okay.
he's hot, too.
I think he's
Maybe I
a
will tune in again.
9-year-old actor.
Stop
Time out.
I actually made that up. I don't know.
Why'd you do that to her?
That was funny.
Okay. Interestingly, this show did pretty well in the ratings. Critics didn't love it. Audiences are here for it.
Yeah, I could see how I can see
Yeah.
it.
What's interesting is about 47% of critics like this, according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
A lot of audiences are saying like they don't like the complicated dynamic between the underprivileged and the privileged people.
Yeah.
They don't like seeing Trump's America on television. So a lot of people think that it might be the leftist bias in Hollywood critics that aren't liking the show. I don't know.
It's a good show.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of liberal and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. For me, like once I realized, because like just watching it because I didn't watch the trailer, I really didn't know what I was getting into when I turned it on, and I'm like, we're really gonna just keep referring to them as Indians. But
Yes.
as I continue to watch, but like, okay, I kind of get it because it has that Western feel. It is the whole Cowboys versus Indians thing. So I guess for entertainment purposes, I will be okay with it and just watch, kind of with more of an open mind. So, and the fact that they are addressing certain issues with that, it's not like they're running over it or, trying to sweep it under the rug if it was, supposed to be Trump's America on TV. So I'm okay with it. Like it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't offensive or anything like that. So I think it's a show you can enjoy if you are into that genre, like I said earlier, into Westerns and things like that.
yeah.
I think you can also see what they're going to do. Like, they're playing up how different all these sides are, and you're going to kind of see how similar they are in the end because they're all kind of willing to go however far they are to get their agenda done. So
Yeah.
I think I see that as the agenda already.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
like
like
they're
that.
all fighting for something that's important to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, about 3 million people watched this pilot, which for
That's a
a
lot.
premiere cable, like a premiere on a cable network, is actually pretty good.
How did they even know where to find it is
I
my
know.
question.
Yeah.
I wonder if, maybe the writer carried them to the show. Again, maybe a lot of Trump's America likes seeing a Western, but
And Kevin Costner, I mean,
Big name.
Yeah,
Big,
Kevin
huge
Costner,
name,
you're
yeah.
right.
and a bit misleading because he's just really a boring jerk.
In real life?
No.
Oh, in the show, I
I mean,
know.
I actually have no idea, but not in my dreams.
I hear you. I do think, though, that probably fares well for the show.
Definitely.
I mean, I would guess we're going to see season 2 of this show.
Yeah, I would say so.
Other shows that you guys would compare this to?
Godless.
Godless.
Bloodline.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch this, but I feel like, what was it, the McCoys versus
Hatfields v. McCoys. Honestly, I think maybe a little bit of Dynasty. If you like the
bit.
Yes,
theme.
a little bit of Dynasty
Like
as
the
well, yes.
old Dynasty.
Yeah, not the
Not the
tone,
style,
Not
but
the, yeah,
part
not
of
the
it,
new.
I also heard Thrones in Montana pitched, which I can kind of see.
All right, Montana.
Yeah.
Wait, so is this not a miniseries? Like,
No.
does this not have a in conclusion?
I think they're hoping to renew.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll
Okay.
see. Quick out of 5, you guys.
3.5 though.
Cool.
I'm at 3.5.
3.0.
Give it 4.
I'm going to say 4. I agree with you, DeAnJilo. You guys gonna come after me or what?
You said the same number as me. So.
I was sort of
Also,
thinking like
Linda's
a
not
4 every week. Well, I guess we should make our way out, guys, with
Probably.
that. This has been TV Pilot Reviews, guys. Today we covered Paramount Network's brand new show, Yellowstone. I'd be very curious to hear what you guys think in the comments because I think this has the potential to kind of be a dark horse. Buzzy's show.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in an after show, I know right now interest at the network isn't necessarily burning for the show, but your comments do mean a lot to us, and if we see tons of people interested, we'll spread the word and we'll get some of our hosts to watch. So let us know in the comments if you want to see an after show. My name, everyone, is Jeff. If you guys want to find me online, you can do that at Jeffrey C. Graham. And if you like action, tune in this Friday to my table read show. We'll be reading a feature-length action comedy. It's hilarious and very warm.
I'm El Marie, guys. You guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at El Marie TV. And you guys can also catch me here Mondays for Basketball Wives and on Wednesdays for Black Ink Crew Chicago.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at SamD43 on Twitter and Instagram, and SamDavidsonEntertainment.com.
And I'm DeAnJilo. You can hit me up on Twitter at DeAnJilo TV or on Instagram at DeAnJilo. Got some cool IGTV content for you guys if you want to check it out. And also, I'll be here next Wednesday.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week here on AfterBuzz TV.
Next year.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.